Yes, yes, everyone. Hello. Yes, another video here from the Tokyo Real Estate Man, and you can see here this Shoten guy is indeed not in Tokyo, but this is in Kansai. This is in Tanimachi in Osaka, which is just a really wonderful neighborhood. It's in the sort of northern end of Osaka, and of course covered here. Even this sort of like not as popular area on social media as the Dotonbori, but still pretty well covered in. Social media. And I always call this the greatest development in the 60s and the 70s for that wave of Japan, which are the shopping streets, the Shotengai. And Osaka has just a wonderful tradition of the shopping streets. And you can even see here, there's just so much, such a diverse and interesting neighborhood. We're going to come into an area here where there's full of single family housing, but you can see there's a main street on the back, just to the back of this area of houses right here, as sort of indicated by that taller building. This is a great little video, and you can see it's just a great area. And a lot of these people in these sort of houses in here, it kind of just immediately reminds me of Kyoto in a small way, because it's really, you see the machias here and everything like that. And people wouldn't have many of these places in here wouldn't have cars or anything like that. So they're almost, you can see though that all these sort of houses are very old. However, there looks to be a sort of maybe that's an older, uh, maybe an older building that's just been put some steel siding up on both sides of these. It's really tough to tell here from this little winding. This is a really neat sort of neighborhood, and I'm glad to bring an apartment. We're going to look at an apartment, not a house here today, but we'll definitely come back here to look in this neighborhood for some houses as well. In that this sort of winding little streets here really interest me. Anyways, I'll stop the video there and I'll cut over here to the map right here of this is again Tanimachi in Osaka. You'll know the more famous area of, at least in terms of social media, and that is down here where I'm moving the mouse right now to the left. And what we're going to look over here is more here. But you can see, by the way, I always talk about how this is such a healthy looking market. You see lots of red pill, but you see a lot of uh, rainbow colors, which we like, because when we see what we're trying to do when we look at this at home page is trying to see, when we see these multicolored places like that, we see that there's different points of demand. Whether that means people are moving in and buying a red pill right away, or maybe people are moving up market slowly over time, over their lifetime. But you just see sort of different sort of price points is great. I looked at this one first, this sort of blue one in the marketplace, which was an interesting one for 1,800 mon. However, I did notice when I looked at the listing was a very good one in terms of its size. I think it was 55 meters, like a two bedroom. But when I came down here to the actual to check out the details of the listing and the map, could see that it was right against sort of a freeway, and that isn't a terrible thing in that there's a lot of people living along both sides of this freeway corridor. However, I just wanted to pick a little better selection in the market that might be a little bit just a better selection for that was a slightly more higher price though. The selection that I decided to choose is this one right here, and this is a 65 meter, I believe it was, top floor unit for excuse me for my googly eyes right now, 2,980 man, or we can just call it 3,000 man. 日本語で 3000 man, 3,000 man, which is going to be 300,000 Canadian dollars. I wish in my building there was another apartment that I could buy for $300,000, because I certainly would buy one. And this is the Osaka market. I'm just thinking Kansai is where the just great deals are here. Anyway, let's cut over here to the listing. Have a look at it right here. I was already on the map looking at everything. That was all the grocery markets in the. I guess we could start here on the best picture because it is on the top floor right here, facing east. Facing east, but I wasn't sure when I looked at this if this was a sealed off, well, of some sort. Looks like it was sort of sealed off with some sort of chain link fencing, but as a top floor unit, I really just liked it right there. Anyhow, we'll go through the pictures. You can see there's supermarkets all around, as indicated there, convenience stores all around. That's a drugstore right there. That obviously is a little mall there in the neighborhood right there. That's probably like the Kuyak show. Anyway, we'll come here to the Madore. And as I said to you, this is a 64 unit building. And this is north this way. So this is facing east right now. So you're going to have this morning light. Again, you're going to hear my sort of fixations on vitamin D and why I love it so much. It's such a healthy thing. And I think that on this top floor unit, you would have really nice light to pick up that sort of healthy vitamin D for your health. Anyway, I'm not trying to not have to talk less. This is the building right here, and it was here on the very top floor, I guess. And we'll go through the pictures. And it's been refurbished, so 3,000 mon, and it is totally 2025 in its style. Uh, Everything's just new. Tile here in the kitchen. You see just a standard system kitchen. There is no sort of shelves up here, so you'd have to like think of something to do. Perhaps over here, maybe back here would be a refrigerator anyway. But you'd have to develop some sort of like system. I guess back here you could put in some sort of you could put in some independent shelves, which I would do, or maybe you would just like to put in some sort of cabinet to help out in that there's nothing here on this side for your place and what have you. System bath. This is pretty cute how they did it here. I like it. This is interesting how they just have this uh, sort of shelf underneath it. Traditionally, this would all be closed off, but I like this kind of design because, like, where there are pipes is often a little moisture. So when you can open up a cabinet like that and it can distribute the moisture in the air like that, is a good idea too. Because eventually, all those kind of particle board sort of, I guess, the cement dye over time can get moldy though too. So this is not a bad design. And you see your laundry hookups there to the left. Yep, brand new toilet. Yeah, there's nothing not to like in this. So I saw this. I just wondered, why is this some sort of office back here with these? But you can see like it's a top floor unit, but by not having this a wall and by putting windows in there, you're able to push the light, which is nice, into like the far corners of the apartment. One thing you could criticize maybe is that this gray paint in some ways absorbs some of the light, whereas that if there was white, I do like the gray paint there, but if you did have white paint, that might push the light further to the back. That could be argued, but it's nice to have a little change in color as well. You can see here really nice up-to-date window systems here. I think this building was built in 1979, so maybe the strata here has been proactive in that they've updated the windows. The windows look to be more of a 1990 or a more contemporary style. Pretty nice though. You can see right there, though, that the building on the other side is a little higher up, but I don't think it would sort of penetrate any of the sunlight that would come into the unit. And you know me, the Tokyo real estate man, I like my top floor unit so I can do my vitamin D tanning. Sorry about that. Sorry. Anyhow, pretty nice. I thought it was pretty nice. And there's a balcony on this side here as well. So nice balconies with this one. And I think it's just a great apartment, and it's good. So it's a deal, man. This one's for you, and it's just bigger. You know, like the people that I bring a lot of stuff up here in Tokyo for this price point, you'd get half the size for this. You'd be getting units that are 30 meters or even like 20 something meters right now. Whereas this in Osaka, here in a great neighborhood in Tanimachi, you can get a 65-meter unit with a nice balcony on the top floor, lots of storage. There, we're back to that picture right there. Anyhow, I think this apartment is a really good one, and I'm happy that I spotted it here. I'm happy to be studying the Osaka market a little bit here. And in terms of its distance, it's here away, 4 minutes away from these train stations. Basically, very centrally located here in Osaka, with the castle, Osaka-jo, just here to the, I guess, the upper right, you could say, or you could say just to the north as well. Pretty reasonable in terms of the management fees. I'd like to see these like opposite. I prefer the repair fund fee be bigger than the management fees. This is 17,000 a month, and this is 55. So you're in total fees every month about 230. That is pretty, I would say, pretty normal. We can see here it's called Fuji Heim. Definitely, this is a Heim sort of name. The Heim sort of buildings were sort of big in the 1970s. I believe this building was built in 1979 when I was looking at it earlier. Yeah, eighth floor. Of eight top floor of the building. I'll try to teach you that word last time. Saijokai, that means top floor. All the systems here are working here in the house, and everything has been updated. 3.5 9-meter balcony. 18 meters or 18, excuse me, units in the building. Oh, that really surprises me. I thought there'd be more. Uh, and I would prefer with 18 meters that this be a little bigger than it is right now. However, I can't report to you how much money is in the repair fund for not fund in there or not. It might very well be full. Obviously, it's been updated to sell, so it is currently Akia, which means vacant, ready to take over. Come up here to the map right here. These are the actual supermarkets in the area, so they're literally everywhere. We see here just to the right or to the, I think, which would be the north of here would be the Osaka Castle. But yeah, this is a very very pleasant neighborhood. We'll try to move in closer to the actual unit itself. And when you get into these hyper sort of environments like this, I find that these satellite pictures sometimes are more effective. And we'll move in a little bit closer, and you can see the sort of where it sort of sits here along this sort of busy road. And it's right, I guess it's not right against the sort of busy road, as it were. And this is the actual building itself right here. And we'll back up. We can perhaps back up a little bit so you can see, though, that this is a very intense urban jungle sort of neighborhood of Tanimachi, uh, Osaka. Maybe we can come into the map right here and try to land it, if I can, land somewhere sort of along this busy street here, if if at all possible. But I think it might be very hardly or impossible for me to spot this building just from where it sits right here. But oh, I think I did see the house mark. Oh, here we go. This is, I can see the house mark. Whether it's this building or the one in behind it, you can see that this is right in the middle of a concrete jungle. But there's a really good indication right there. You see that's showing that there's young families that want to be here in this neighborhood right there. And it looks to be, what do we have here? Looks to be maybe that's even the mother right there with her daughter walking right there. So that really gives, that's a really good indication when you see like a younger, let's say we're gonna, I'm guessing, but a 30-year-old mother and her daughter in the neighborhood here, where there's even in the concrete jungle like that, because it shows that young families want to be here. That's where they want to be, right there. And you see a person, I guess a little bit younger than me, 40 something there, and very sort of pleasant neighborhood here in behind here as well, with some low rises. Looks some really nice apartments here in this building. Anyhow, this is we come back here to the other to the sort of master map, as it were, and you can see I'm not surprised that I just saw those two people, like the 30-something-year-old mother and the daughter, and that other sort of 45-year-old man here. When we look at the red pill, we can see here that this neighborhood is full of red pill, and it's full of demand. That's again what we're getting from the red pill. Anyway, that's really interesting here to look at. We can come up back here to the winding streets of Tanimachi here in Osaka again. Maybe I can try to advance the frame a little bit further on so you can pick up a different sort of scape. But a really nice video taken here. Again, I'm just loving all these sort of video resources that we have as real estate shoppers to understand the character of the neighborhood. Certainly, that's a great shot with that work truck right there, and that almost looks like it might have been a Vespa. But you can see as well here the bicycle dominates in this neighborhood too, because a lot of people uh, living in apartments and stuff like that. And I think it's just a great neighborhood, and I'm happy to cover it. And I'm going to come back here again because some of the stuff I've covered before near the Dotonbori area is really good, and it's really commercial, but maybe it's not as pleasant an atmosphere to live in. And I was studying that sort of master map here in Osaka, and I noticed the pattern. That's what I love about this site that we're using to study this, is that I could see the distribution of red pill sort of listings are just indicating demand. He's going to come into this area again. Here we go. As you come into the cluster of old homes, it could, you could almost say it's a shanty town. It's going to be really difficult to rebuild a lot of these places in here, but it could be done. They built it originally. I think it would have been easier to probably build this after the war, but there's probably examples of properties here that have been rebuilt or perhaps even been rebuilt from the. Look at this right here. There's a new build. Just as I talk too much, there's a new build right here with the blue tile we see right there. And it's a very pleasant neighborhood. Anyway, I'm very happy to bring you this video here today, and we'll definitely be back in this neighborhood to look around. If you're interested in a property from Japan, you can always come here to my website, the Tokyo Real Estate Man. Two ways to get a hold of me here. My email is here on the top right here. It's just a simple old-fashioned Yahoo. You can give me a straight mail. Failing that, you can use the contact box and give me a mail there as well. If you're a more of a younger person and you prefer social media manner of way of getting a hold of people, you can always come here to my Instagram, which is known as Tokyo Real Estate Man. I have updated my profile picture uh, with my blue Delica in Niigata as the new icon for the Instagram. Anyway, Tokyo Real Estate Man website is the Instagram, also known as Shibuya Republic. いつもこのチャンネルを見ている皆様ありがとうございます。今日の大阪の谷町の物件の話ありがとうございます。この動画でもう終わりです。